For educational critical review and reaction, Jordan Maxwell.
All Hallows Eve, we're joined with an amazing guest. This is literally the Super Bowl of symbolism going down right now. Jordan Maxwell, occult researcher, just scholar extraordinaire, joining us on the phone. What do you mean by the power of words? I'm stating that, but do you mean that just by saying something a certain way, you can manifest it, whether good or bad?
Well, what I was going to say, and because when you mouth a word, it's a vibration.
Yes.
And so vibrations are very important. That's the way so many things have gotten done. As a matter of fact, the Hindus say that's the way the whole world got here, by vibration. So, but what I was going to say is that there is a magical system which is promoted by and feted by and caused by a spiritual presence on the earth. I don't know how far out into space it may go and where it may have come from, and there may be a lot bigger story there, but for the earth and for us, there is a spiritual presence on this earth.
Absolutely.
Which is highly intelligent, which can be extremely evil, very, 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 very destructive and evil, but it's intelligent, and it is not a nebulous thing. It is actually individual personalities in the spirit world. And so just because you don't see them does not mean that they don't exist.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
ancient peoples called them, like in the Islamic world, they're called jinns.
Right.
Christians call them angels, demons, and devils. Today, scientifically, we talk about poltergeists and spirits, dark spirits. But whoever and whatever this is that we're talking about, which is not of our world, but does coexist with us on this planet, unfortunately, humans go about their daily life doing what they do and do not see the presence of other life forms here.
Oh, they're completely oblivious.
Yeah, totally oblivious. And so much of what is going on in the world today, the chaos and the demonic stuff that's happening with murder and violence and raping and pillaging and the destruction of human life, is all being orchestrated by some things or some ones which are not of our physical world.
Now, let's talk about that, Jordan, because today is a very special broadcast, All Hallows Eve. All Hallows Eve, to me, is Halloween. It's Samhain. It's these druidical rituals. Now, I'm thinking Halloween goes way back. I mean, it's in Old English, All Hallows means the Feast of the Saints, but literally, I mean, this goes back to ancient, the Aztec, where they had Quetzalcoatl, the reptile snake god. They had that, and then they had the Egyptians and their beliefs of the netherworld and life after death and reincarnation.
All of them did, including the Mexicans today. Once a year, they have their
Dia de los
celebrations about when they celebrate the dead, and it's the Day of the Dead, where they are able to communicate with their dead ancestors, and it's a special day, similar to Halloween.
And it continues. It continues today, right, Jordan? I mean, do you think that the children trick-or-treating symbolizes basically like child sacrifice? I mean, literally dressing them up for the golden sacrificial bull, the ancient deity?
All of that is connected. All of it's connected. I'm quite sure there's a lot of that, too.
Let's go to Star Wars and the symbolism that's in Star Wars. I see one of the main antagonists, and that's Darth Vader. I mean, to me, he symbolizes the Nazis. Say that trench coat, the cape. He looks like Goebbels to me or something.
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of that is in there. There's a lot of stuff in Star Wars, but the main thing that I thought about Star Wars is the very name.
Yes.
Wars in the Stars, Star Wars, and that's in fact what's going on. There's something going on out there in our galaxy, in our solar system. our other planets in our solar system we're finally getting some people to tell us something about what's going on in our own solar system.
Right.
And when you begin to look at our planets closest to us, there are all kinds of things that we didn't know, implying that there is other life forms here in our solar system. I've talked with scientists, very, very well established scientists at NASA. I'm not going to give their name because they're in trouble now because they've talked too much. But they talked with me privately up in San Francisco, and they were talking about what we know. What happened was that the scientist comes walking up to me in San Francisco. I was speaking at a conference there. And he said, "Jordan, I've come here to talk to you. I'm not interested to attend this conference, but I came here to talk to you." He said, "Because you've been talking a lot about the planet Saturn in mythology and religion. I wanted to tell you, since you're here in my area, I wanted to tell you a few things about Saturn that we at NASA know that nobody's ever heard." And he began telling me some of the strangest stuff about the planet Saturn, and that basically that the planet Saturn is inhabited.
Right.
There's life forms there. We know
Wow.
they're there because we've seen them. And then the North Pole of Saturn is a hexagon, and we've seen large ships. One in particular, very large ship. He said it's estimated to be about 3,200 miles wide from Los Angeles to New York. Well, that's how big this thing is. And it is creating another ring around Saturn, because the rings around Saturn are artificial. They're not normal. Somebody's making those rings. And there's a ring being made right now as we speak, and it's almost completed. And so they've got pictures as they flew by Saturn. They've got pictures of this huge ship that's estimated to be 3,200 miles wide, creating another ring around Saturn. And it's almost done. They can see where it started, and now it's almost connected, but it's not yet connected. And so they know. And then he said, we've seen and got pictures of ships going into Saturn, actually going into the planet, not landing on the planet, but going into it.
Right.
And ships coming out of the planet, coming out of and going into. So we know there's activity there on Saturn. What it is, who it is, we don't know. But there's activity there. I should tell you something. And then, of course, when you look at the surface of Mars and begin to see the incredible stuff that we...
Oh, you see infrastructures.
The infrastructure
Yes.
of Mars. The glass tunnels.
Satellites even.
Yeah, it's incredible. The stuff that is on Mars that obviously is not natural. Somebody made them. And so now we begin
blue
to
skies.
Look at,
They even have blue skies on Mars.
Yeah, but my point is, it's highly intelligent out there, and they're on Mars. We know that for a fact. We've seen too much. They're on the moon. We've seen that too much. There's life on the planet Saturn. We've seen that. So basically, what I'm saying is that our solar system is alive and teeming with life forms. which are far superior to us, highly intelligent, and far superior to us because they can do things we can't do. And so it all implies that these are the same intelligences that have given us our religions and our philosophies and our mythologies of our religions. Where did all of these stories come from? Well, it goes back to the ancient world, when this world, and even today, but this world has been occupied by higher intelligences. We call them demons or gods or
archons,
or whatever you want to call
Nephilim,
them.
archon.
Nephilim, right. And the Mormon religion, if you look at the Nephites and the Mormon books and magazines, you'll see pictures of what they call the Nephites. And the Nephites are huge, enormous, overly normal, human, large, huge guys, big, huge, enormous.
Like the Amalek.
Exactly. And so, but Nephites, Nephites, put that for the word Nephilim. Nephilim. Wow.
Yes.
The Nephilim were the offspring of the fallen angels with humans. That's a whole story you can go into for hours on that subject. And so,
right.
People
it truly
do not know
is.
how to read any of this stuff.
It truly is a intergalactic star war. And
that's right.
Jordan, I was looking at, I like to look at the symbolism or the predictive programming from Hollywood. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. Just wanted to mention, in the new Star Wars movie, the symbol of the Sith, who I believe represent the Jesuits, is actually a Vatican Knights of Malta cross. I mean, the lightsaber is a Knights of Malta cross. I was blown away when I saw that symbolism.
Well, first of all, you need to understand that ABC or Disney bought ABC.
Yes.
Disney is filled to the brim. I'm talking about filled to the brim with Illuminati, occult symbolism, words, and it's just pouring out.
Yes.
Pouring out into the world occultism on a level and amounts and a level that's unbelievable.
Well, they talk about the magic of Disney.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's really very dark.
Yes.
I'm talking about something different than just slipping in symbolism of ancient religions and all that kind of thing. No, I'm talking about something different. What I'm talking about is a profound, awesome outpouring of seditious, incredible propaganda based directly on the Illuminati symbolism from the 1700s, the dark occult symbolism going back into the devil worship and demon worship, going back into the Middle Ages. I mean, there's a lot of very, very powerful, scary stuff going on at Disney and ABC that people just don't know about. They don't see it.
Jordan, they literally have 666 on the Disney logo.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
And right in the castle, I've seen so much symbolism. I mean, from Isis and the pillars of masonry, both Jacking and Boas. I mean, it's all over their work.
Well,
it's sexual symbolism. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I saw The Lion King, and I didn't notice it right away. But Simba goes and he lays down on the grass, the lion Simba, and from the embers or the dust where he lays down on the rock, they go up into the sky and they spell up sex.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And that goes into the subconscious. I mean, Walt Disney even had a personal relationship with, I believe it was J. Edgar Hoover, and he was even being brainwashed or mind-controlled at military bases like Lookout Mountain or Laurel Canyon. I mean, these places in Hollywood that are part of the druidical occult, just cabal.
Yeah, well, I lived in Los Angeles, and
me too.
Studio City was walking distance to me, and Laurel Canyon that's a whole story in itself. Laurel
Yes.
Canyon and Studio City in the outskirts of Los Angeles, out in the valley, it's called, and that's where Nazism was born. We think that Nazism was a creation of the Germans during the Second World War. In point of fact, no, that's not true at all. Nazism was born in Studio City in Los Angeles. It was born there. That's where it was created, up on Laurel Canyon and Mulholland.
Right.
Up near the Mulholland and Laurel, where Laurel crosses Mulholland, was a hotbed of occultists, and Houdini and a lot of other people lived right up in that area. But it was a hotbed for occultism, and they developed. That's a whole story in itself. I mean,
Well, absolutely. They developed, Jordan, just the artists, the legendary rock stars of today, all of
right,
them.
exactly.
I mean, from Red Hot Chili Peppers to Jim Morrison, whose father was part of the Gulf of Tonkin. I mean, they all had military ties, and they all had this occult tie to what I believe in my research to the Process Church. It all goes back to that, I believe.
Well, I had a friend who passed away quite a few years ago. This is a long time ago. And he was a limo driver and with the studios. And he was telling me, I used to go with him sometimes when he was driving movie stars around. But he was telling me that one time he got a call to pick up a very famous movie star. I'm not going to use his name. And he said that he had a couple of other people with him and picked him up at the airport to bring him back to Hollywood. And he said, and as they were driving back on the freeway, this very famous movie star asked the driver, because he knew him well, he said, "Who do you think is the most wealthiest man on the whole planet Earth? The most powerful, wealthiest man on the earth?" And my friend said, so I just give him the same name that any other goofball would. I said Rockefeller, and everybody else. The guys there laughed. They thought it was funny. I said the Rothschilds, and then they laughed again. They thought that was funny. And then the guy said, the movie star said, "No, I'm serious. Who do you think is the most wealthiest, most powerful man on the planet?" And he said, "I have no idea." And he said, "Well, that's where we're going." He lives right here in Los Angeles in the Hollywood Hills off of Mulholland. And he's a German. He's the one that gave us the Germanic idea of Nazism. He's the guy who finances all of that kind of stuff for Adolf Hitler. We're going to see him today. And so he went on to telling me about all kinds of where this guy lived up in the mountains and of hills, in the hills of Los Angeles. But the point I'm making is that there's a lot of things going on this earth that we have no idea in the world where they come from, who did it, where it started, and so we just go along to get along and believe whatever we're given to believe, never realizing nothing is what you think it is. The whole thing is a charade and a show.
Tell me about it.
It's always based on political power. Religion is simply a tool in the hands of the people who run the planet.
I mean, Hollywood truly is a freak kingdom, is it not, Jordan?
Well, of course.
I mean, let's look at the word Hollywood itself.
Let's look at where the
Hollywood,
word is.
yes, yeah, that's exactly. You see, we're going the same place. The word Hollywood. Where is it derived from? Right,
It comes from in the ancient Europe.
The Druids.
Before the Roman Empire existed, before Rome, in Europe there was already a well-established peoples in Europe, and Central and Northern, well, all four, Northeast, Western, Southern Europe, there were already lots of people there. And that system, before Rome existed, that system was called Druids.
Yes.
The Druidic system. The Druids were a Celtic or a Celtic peoples and European peoples, and in that system we called Druid. The Druids were the doctors, the lawyers, the politicians, the teachers, any position that was important in the ancient world in Europe was occupied by a druid. Well, the druids had a very important symbol that they carried with them always. And that symbol was a magic wand.
That's right.
Like today you have orchestra leaders who conduct their orchestra. They orchestrate the music, orchestrating with a magic wand.
That's right.
Just like Merlin the magician orchestrates his magic with a magic wand. That all goes back to the Druid magic wand of Europe. And so magic wands were always made out of the wood of a holly bush, holly tree. And so it was always made out of a holly wood.
Right. I mean,
So
the Freemason used wands, right?
But I'm talking about an ancient, far before Freemasonry ever existed. I'm talking about a culture of people called the Druids, and they had a system of magic. And over that magic, they use a symbol to manipulate that magic called a magic wand.
Right.
And today, people do not realize that in Christianity and in Judaism, virtually every time you will see a picture or a sculpting or a picture of Moses, he always carried a magic wand. Anytime in the churches of Europe, throughout all of Europe, when you see sculptures and pictures of Jesus doing miracles, he's always doing a miracle with a magic wand everywhere.
Right.
People do not realize that there are many sculptures all over Europe in Christian cathedrals and churches showing or painted pictures showing Jesus doing his miracles with a magic wand. Go on the web and type in magic wands with Jesus or magic wands with Moses, and you will see all kinds of sculptures where Moses is doing magic with his magic wand, or Jesus is raising the dead, or doing some incredible thing with his magic wand. I am telling you that the entire story of Judaism and Christianity is Druidic. It goes back to the use of magic wands.
Yes.
All you've got to do is go on the web and go on the web and type in image. Go to image and then type in magic wands with Moses, magic wands, and Jesus.
Right.
And then you will see all kinds. St. Peter was carrying a magic wand and did magic with his magic wand. But people are not told this kind of thing. They don't know anything about it. All they know is they go to church and have no idea in the world where church comes from.
Right. Where does the word church come from? I've heard you break that down before.
Yeah, well, people go to church and have no idea that the word church goes back to it's obviously an English word. C-H-U-R-C-H, church is English. But it is traced back to, in a dictionary, it goes back to Scotland. In Scotland, if you are a Christian, Sunday morning you're going to kirk, K-I-R-K, or K-E-R-K. Kirk can be spelled either way. This is why you have a Captain Kirk of the good ship Enterprise, taking mankind where he's never been before. Because that's what Captain Kirk is church in English. And that's why churches are an enterprise. That's why the spaceship is called Enterprise, because churches are divided into denominations, like 20s and 10s and 50s. It's an enterprise, it's a company, it's a corporation, it's money, it's political power and business.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, the whole world is a business. You are a corporation. My God, that's so much people don't know. Did you know that you yourself are a corporation by law?
Absolutely. I'm being sold, you're being sold, we're all being sold. Let me
go on
ahead.
with this.
Go ahead.
When I see you with some girl and I tell you the next day, you know, that girl you were out with last night, she's bad company. Company? Then you say to me, mind your own business.
That's
Business?
right.
I'm going to get married. She's going to be my partner. Partner, business, company. We're talking business
all
here.
business terms, yes.
It's all business terms. Why? Because getting married is simply a business.
Tell me about it.
And therefore, if the marriage doesn't work, it's all right. Businesses don't always work. So if the business doesn't work, it was bad business or it was monkey business, but it's none of my business. That's your business.
That is truly funny.
But if you're going to do business with somebody else, another corporation, you're going to have a license. So that's why you have to have a marriage license, because you're doing business. If you don't think you're doing business, then wait till it don't work out, because you're not going to God, you're going to court. Bring your car, your house, and your money. It's
right.
Just business.
Oh, and there's so much of wordplay with regarding. I've heard you break it down, the Watergate in court, and
of course.
I've heard it. Incredible, some incredible magic, Jordan. We were talking about Hollywood and the symbolism just surrounding Hollywood. The Oscars. The Oscar looks like the Egyptian deity Horus or Ptah, does he not?
Yeah, Ptah. Yeah. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's interwoven into corporate logos, flags, coats of arms, halatory seals, presidential seals, police department badges, fire department seals, all the seals and emblems and official, like I said, commercial logos from companies and corporations. All of these things are connected behind the scenes with occultism, occult religions, secret societies, fraternal orders are operating right in front of you, and you don't even see it.
But you have to understand the language. You have to learn the language of symbolism, don't you not? Do you not?
That's right. That's exactly right. You have to learn the language and understand the symbolism, and that's what people do not know. Most people do not even realize there is a hidden world of communication among powerful people. When the President of the United States is talking, he is not talking to the country. He's not talking to Americans. He's talking to other leaders of the gangs. It's like gang leaders, and they're all talking to each other in their language, not yours.
They're all organized crime scum, and I'm just so sick of them, Jordan. I mean, seriously, I hate listening to politics. I much rather talk about what you and I are talking about. You know, I cannot stand talking about just who the president is, because at the end of the day, he's just a puppet. He's being told by the powers that be, what to do. He's just a puppet on a string.
Well, of course, but I thought everybody knew that. That's right. I mean, John F. Kennedy proved that. Here's John F. Kennedy back in the early 60s, who was handsome, debonair, incredibly wealthy, powerful young man with a powerful family behind him, becomes President of the United States and is well loved and respected around the world. He had everything, and yet they blew his head off in public.
Well, that was
nobody ever went to jail. Period.
That was a Freemasonic ritual, I believe.
Well, I don't know, but I'm making the point that you can be powerful, you can be wealthy, you can be important. It don't matter. There are powers above you that will kill you at a drop of a hat. Period.
Yes.
So just because you are Albert Einstein or a Rockefeller does not mean anything.
Well, like I heard you say, Jordan.
Above them.
I heard you say that it's the smart people that they go after. That if you're wise, you better smarten up and shut up sometimes, right? That's what they say. They go after the smart ones.
I didn't say that. The President of the United States said that. Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States, back in 1919, made the statement, public statement. that there is a power on this earth so awesome, so powerful, I'm paraphrasing,
That's right.
so awesome and so terrible and so profoundly powerful that if you're going to speak about it, you better speak under your breath so nobody hears you. Because if you offend them, you are dead. I don't care if you're the President of the United States, you're dead before the sun goes down. So there is a very powerful presence in the earth. That's where the real power exists. It does not exist in the U.S. government. It doesn't exist in Russia or in the Vatican. There's something else going on here that's manipulating all of it. And that's why the Apostle Paul in the Bible says we wrestle not with flesh and blood. We don't have a war against flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and dark evil forces in the world that you can't see. That's what we're really
And would
at war with.
would those evil forces lead to Rome?
Oh yeah, well I mean Rome is one of the three major divisions of that dark force. It's not the only one, but it's one of the earliest and most important factions of that dark power. But there's a power behind the Vatican.
Yeah.
The Vatican itself is not the power. The Vatican merely represents something that's behind it. Just like the president is not the power in this country, never has been. He merely represents a power source in Washington, D.C., but there's something that's behind it that he represents. He's not the power, but he represents the power. All of this stuff that we're experiencing today started back in the 1840s, 1845. Go back and look at American history. That's when all of this dark stuff started happening. Right after the Republic was founded in 1776.
That's right.
There was a whole new thing happening. It was very evil as far back as the 1840s. So people should have woke up a long time.
It's become a dire situation, Jordan, and literally, there's no escape on Earth from the New World Order's electric eye. I mean,
there is no escape period.
Yes.
Locked in.
Jordan, it's been an epic All Hallows Eve with the legend himself, Jordan Maxwell.
It goes back to the beginnings of mankind. It's a big, big story that no one has ever been told.
Amazing.
It's right there in front of you. Anyway, I'm going to have to go because I got a new show to do right now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jordan, for being on, and happy All Hallows Eve and festivities to you too.